ChatGerry, comparison between Professor Norman Jones's engineering research and Gerald C. Shu's medical research number, 1363, VMT Sharp 704, September 22, 2025. Gerald C. Shu, EclaireMD Foundation. Category, Methodology, Engineering Professionals. Introduction. At first glance, engineering and medicine may seem far apart. One deals with steel, ships, and crashes, the other with blood vessels, organs, and chronic disease. But both are about survival under stress. Professor Norman Jones spent 6 decades studying how structures deform, absorb energy, and sometimes fail under impact. 4 decades later, his student Gerald C. Shu carried those same principles into medicine, applying energy-based models to understand organs, disease progression, and prevention of premature death. Norman Jones, Engineering Under Impact. Jones's career stretched from the 1960s to the 2020s. In the early years, he relied on slide rules, pencil sketches, and primitive computers. Later, he led world-class laboratories, founded journals, and influenced global crashworthiness standards. His breakthrough insight was that plastic deformation is not always failure. Under the right conditions, permanent bending or denting can actually save lives by absorbing energy during crashes or blasts. He translated these complex nonlinear behaviors into practical charts and design rules that engineers could use in real-world projects. Jones insisted that theory, computation, and experiment must work together. He saw computation grow from punched cards to supercomputers. Yet he always reminded students that models must be validated, and that experiments reveal surprises theory alone cannot predict. His book Structural Impact and more than 300 papers remain cornerstones of impact engineering. Gerald Shu, Medicine as Dynamic Systems. Shu, one of Jones's MIT students in the early 1970s, began in engineering and later became a Silicon Valley entrepreneur. But years of obesity, diabetes, and 5 cardiovascular events forced him to change course. In 2010, encouraged by Jones, he turned the same principles of dynamic plasticity and viscoplastic energy toward his own failing health. Since 2010, Shu has treated his body as a living laboratory. He has collected over 4 million personal data points: glucose, blood pressure, heart rate, steps, sleep, and more. He built medical AI models on his iPhone device, applied stress-strain energy analysis, and created a new framework, the viscoplastic medicine theory, VMT. Where Jones studied how ships and plates bend under blasts, Shu studies how organs and vessels deform under chronic stress. Short spikes in blood pressure may be reversible, but low-frequency glucose waves cause long-term and permanent vascular damage. Shu's message is simple: lifestyle, food, exercise, sleep, stress management, acts as the true energy absorber that delays systemic collapse. Shu has now published more than 1,360 medical papers, often simplifying results into diagrams that patients and professionals alike can understand. Shared spirit. Despite different domains, Jones and Shu share the same mindset. Systems are nonlinear, dynamic, and sometimes irreversible. Energy is the unifying language that explains survival. Prevention is better than repair, whether in structures or in organs. Knowledge must be shared openly, not hidden, because survival depends on it. Jones protected lives through safer engineering design. Shu now works to extend lives through better lifestyle management and chronic disease prevention. Conclusion. The story of Jones and Shu shows how first principles travel across fields. From steel beams to human veins, the same questions matter: what fails, when, and why? How does energy flow, and how can we design for survival? Their journeys prove that tools may change, from slide rules to AI, but the first principles of science endure. Disclaimer. This content is provided for educational reference only, and does not constitute medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is created. You may share this summary freely, but it must not be altered, edited, or republished as your own. All intellectual property rights and copyrights related to medicine from this article and its related materials belong to the author, Gerald C. Shu.